good evening, good evening, and welcome to Candid Conversations with Coach Pam. This is our third episode, and I'm happy to say that I'm bringing guests again tonight with me so that we can have a true candid conversation. For those who don't know me, I'm Pam McNeil, the teen transformer, and I am here on Sundays at 7 p.m. for about 30 minutes to have candid conversations with you on trying to empower parents and teens as they transition into adulthood. And my particular focus is our African American or our Black teens. Um, as I have had over 30 years of alumni recruiting from my alma mater, which is Wellesley College. I attended Wellesley College and Harvard Business School. And during my time working as an alumni recruiter, I found that our families of African descent didn't know what we didn't know. And for a lot of us, I don't care how well educated, I don't care how well uh, attending the best schools and sometimes having some of the best backgrounds, we still were falling short of some of these insider information, a lot of the things that we need to be successful, not just in the college admission, but internships, career advancement, and just in life. So tonight, I'm happy to have with me my dear colleague and friend, Miss Patricia Wicks from PATHworks, Ohio. And we're also fortunate that her daughter, Madeline, is home on a break. And so she's a freshman at DePaul University. So they are going to be joining me as well. So happy to have you. Welcome, welcome. Look who stopped by. Look who stopped by. So, hey. So, um, tell us a little bit, Miss Patricia, about who you are and what you do.
I have really focused on helping young adults move into their adulthood with the tools that they need to be successful. But I got to dial it back because PATHworks has been around now for 11 years. And I started this because, well, actually, I tell stories. So let me just very, very quickly, how many of us out here know that we raise our young people, right, as parents, grandparents, we raise our young people to go into the world and to do great things, right, to be successful, to be self-sufficient, to have their own key to their own house one day, right? Well, we also know that once we put them out into the world's going to tell them some things about what they can and can't do. Those expectations that, you look at me and decide that I can or can't do something, or those limiting beliefs, even though I love you, I may provide you with some limiting beliefs from my own background as a mom or as a dad, right? And so, what I'm trying to say is, we lay the foundation for our young people to be successful to the best of our ability. I know, Coach Pam, you just said we don't know what we don't know, and we do the very best that we can. I call that we love, we say we love you to death. I just love you to death. We want you to be loving them to life. So my why, one of my main whys in PathWorks is really to help parents to be okay with relinquishing some of the control that we have around our young people and not feel out of control when we do that as we help them move into adulthood, right? And that looks like helping them to be adult ready. Adult ready is simply having the foundation that we've given them, but us having the confidence in that foundation for our young people to move into their life, if it's in school, if it's out on the block, if it's in their work as they move into their adult life, using what we've given them to be successful. So, those are the reasons why I do what I do. I want those young people to be supported, live the life they're here to live, as well as us parents know that, we hold so tight sometimes, we don't give them a chance to grow. But we want them to grow. So I have tools to help us do that. I hope I answered your question.
You
I got
certainly
excited.
did.
I got excited.
Certainly did. And yeah, so um, tell me, Who exactly do you serve? Is it high school kids? Is it middle school kids, or both?
Great questions. Typically, my young people start eighth to ninth grade transition. I
Mm-hmm.
will work with some students in that age range, but my sweet spot and where we help the most is when those young people are in high school and they're preparing for college. So that's a junior, senior, first year of college. That's our sweet spot. These are young people who, as parents, we expect them to make certain decisions, right? And you start having some of that tension in that relationship because we're expecting them to do something and they may or may not do it. And that's what I mean by that control that we kind of sense of I want to make sure they're okay. So
Mm-hmm.
those are the ages that I serve the most.
All right, and you, in particular, speak about being adult ready. What
Yeah.
does that mean?
It's I appreciate the question because adult ready to so many people, right? There's lots of definitions. But when we talk about it in PathWorks, we're really talking about making strong decisions that you own your stuff, right? We're at school, we're in class. Who's responsible for getting the work done? Who's responsible for learning that information? Who's responsible for asking the questions that need to be asked so that you have, that idea of where you're going? So, adult ready is really about making effective decisions. It's about having an idea, creating a plan, right? Seeking that plan, owning it, and executing it. So, we help young people be adult ready, and we support the adults and agencies who work with them to work better together. Great
All
question.
right.
Hmm.
All right, so let's bring Madeline into this conversation. Maddie, you are a freshman at DePaul University in Chicago.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
so tell us a little bit about yourself and
All
how
right.
you came to your decision of where to go to school.
Okay. So I am going to DePaul. I am majoring in actuary science, and it's been a ball so far. DePaul was definitely my dream school, quote unquote. My mom took me there when I was like maybe eighth grade,
Hmm.
and I walked around the campus. 'Cause we were in the middle of Lincoln Park. That's where my campus is, and I got to like just walk around campus and talk to other students at eighth grade, and I
Hmm.
was like, this is definitely where I want to go. So then fast forward to my first freshman year of high school, we went back. And I still love the campus, love the teaching style. I like the quarter system. And I was like, this is definitely where I'm going. So then I made it happen.
Hmm.
So I applied early and I got in. And now I'm doing what I want to do. Yeah.
All right. So, speaking of being adult ready, this is
Hmm.
a true example
That's it.
of doing what you do, right, Miss
Mhm.
Yeah.
Patricia? And so, what was that like for you in terms of were you ready for that transition with her?
Myself or
Yes,
Madeline?
yes.
Me?
Both.
Were you as the parent, were you ready?
Well, I always say that the umbilical cord has to get cut from both sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
And typically, I found that the young adult needs to do it first because we have this beautiful soul that we birth into the world. We want them to be successful. We want them to have all that they need to be self sufficient and to do what they're here to do. Right. So that's what I wanted for Madeline from day one. Let's,
Mm-hmm.
go forth. So I also recognize, and it's interesting because you're right, she is the Pathworks child, right? That
Mm-hmm.
she's living her life, her left and her right foot. And I am not my mother to her.
Mm-hmm.
Huge, huge difference. I am her mother, not my mother to her. And
Right.
so we have a relationship, and she can tell you from her perspective, where when it was time for her to move to college, we had already established the process. And very quickly, I'll share this. When Maddie was little something, she was allowed to play on the stoop in front of our door in our
Mm-hmm.
house. We had a little townhouse. There was a park, and she was allowed to play on the stoop. When she got a little bit older, she could get on the grass right in front of the stoop. She got a little bit older, she could go, 50 feet to the playground. And then when she got a little older, she could go on the other side of the bushes. So now, her territory is widening. Then she could ride her bike up and down the street. Now she had to pop in and do things. Then she could ride up the hill. Then she could go around the block. Then she could go to the park, and back.
Right.
Then let's go to the phone. She had a little flip phone. You understand what I'm saying? So
Right.
this is the foundation that we as parents create for our young people from the time they come out. We have to decide that we respect it and trust it. Did we do a good job? And own it. Nope, did a horrible job. Yep, did a great job. Well, it was catch and go, because we are human as
Mhm.
parents. None of that, none of what we think we did or didn't do is the bottom line for our children's life. She still has her own brain and her own understanding of how the world works. They come here already having some knowledge, if you ask me. And so I was excited. I had tears, it's like surprising, but I was very confident that Madeline would be able to fly because
Mhm.
she's been given the opportunity to succeed and to fail, right? Sometime, and
Mhm.
and figure it out and know that I'm here to support her, not to tell her what to do. And that flip is what Adult Ready is about. It's like as your young person gets to those different ages of I expect you to do these things now, they may or may not be ready. Give yourself grace, give your young person grace, give yourself mercy, give your young person mercy. Know that it's not going to be perfect every time, but when you trust, that's what I mean by relinquish control.
Mhm.
She's living her life. So that's how it was for me. And now where she is, I mean, we talk all the time and we text each other and we share in each other's life, but that's because of our relationship, right? So
Mhm.
I guess that's how I would answer that question. I'm great. I miss her. I
Mhm.
miss my baby. I do. I miss her. But I'm so excited about what she's doing. And I'm so excited about, how she's going to end up, you know, doing what she's going to do from her actuary and from her writing and the things that she enjoys. So what about you?
So how she said a lot of it. I think it was I felt like I was ready. I felt like I had a really good foundation, not even just because she's sitting here next to me. Like I did truly feel like I had a good foundation to go out and every day just be waking up and being able to move how I need to in Chicago by myself. I just know that I was ready because I can do what I need to do. I can get the things I need to get done, and I feel comfortable. And I do call her every
All right.
day.
Well, we have another guest.
Hey.
Miss Holly Reid is stopping by to have a chat with us as well. Let me see if I can add her to our conversation and welcome her. Welcome, Holly.
Hi, everybody. How are you guys?
We're
Hey,
good.
Holly.
We're
Good to
good.
see you.
Good to see you too.
Holly, let me let you introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what you do and why.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Holly Reid of the Master Playbook, where we are on a mission to equip the next generation to master money
Yeah.
and to empower parents, right? We
Yes.
empower parents to give their kids the financial head start that they deserve. And so I mainly accomplish this through our signature Future Millionaire Money Camps for Kids, through our financial literacy resources. So we have great books, great financial literally flashcards, workbooks for parents and families to dive into to start help closing that gap around financial education, money management, help to spark some conversations. And the reason I do all of this is because we know that money conversations not they rarely happen in the home. And our school systems don't do them consistently. So we are clearly just here to help close that financial education gap. And particularly with Black and Brown families, we want to work towards closing that wealth gap, right? So there have been many before us who have a fantastic financial head start. And so now, a lot of the barriers that prevented people of color from having wealth, attaining wealth, growing wealth no longer exist, or at least we know how to do it, right? So I'm not saying that they don't exist. I'm not saying that hurdles and obstacles don't exist. They still do, but we work where we're not focusing on the hurdles, but what is the game we need to play? What are the rules of engagement? And just making sure future generations know that they are prepared, that they are equipped so that they can build and grow wealth far faster than maybe I have or even my parents were able to in their lifetime.
So how's this conversation sitting with you guys, Maddie and Miss Patricia? How comfortable are you in your money conversations? How money ready are you or were you before you left for college?
Um, well, graduation parties are always great. That's always a happy thing. But then definitely figuring out to do with that money after it was difficult. Like for my own, like I can talk to my mother, we can figure things out. But just like having the money then on my own in Chicago was interesting. We'll say
Mm-hmm.
that. And just budgeting and knowing the different things I have to purchase for school and then what I don't actually need to get for school
Mm-hmm.
or just stuff like that really was interesting. But I'm figuring out better now, and I think it's going a lot better now than when it first started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's definitely an evolution. What I find with our young people is, maybe parents have started conversations, but there hasn't
Mm-hmm.
been a whole lot of practice, right? And that's what really needs to happen. We need to allow our kids to practice managing money. We give them the guidance, right? We give them the blueprint of
Mm-hmm.
what they should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they don't know, they will quickly find out through their
Yes.
own trials
Yes.
in their own testing. Oh, I should have listened, I should have saved a little
Right.
bit more, or maybe I'm taking on too much too soon. But our goal is, I just don't ever want to hear I didn't know.
Yep.
No one ever sat me down and taught me this. No one. So at least you have the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scripture that says, train up a child.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are trying to train up the next generation, right? So that when they fall, if they decide not to follow the blueprint, at least they won't have to go so far or start from scratch in order to figure out how to rebound, reset, to really position themselves to get back right on track, financially speaking.
And,
exactly.
and Coach Pam, I have to tell you, and Holly, you said it. I love when you talk about it that way because when we talk about the foundation that we provide our young people, right? Giving them a chance to succeed and fail
Yeah.
while you're in your house. And
Yes.
that's what I was talking about with with relinquishing control. It's not that helping you relinquish control without losing your mind. I put it that way. Like, don't be freaking out that, oh my gosh, I'm not. No, in my house, here's your $50 for the month. Will you eat on the 28th? Or will you not eat on the 28th? You're going to be trying to figure out
If
how
I'm
you going
about to eat.
to, you about to, but it's to your point. That's exactly right. And this is why it's so critical that there's opportunities for young people to get those tools, or for the parents who are like, look, I know what I know. I recognize I have my own issues.
Yeah.
I need to make sure my young person has what they need to be
Right.
successful. And that's how PathWorks comes in and partners with you, to make that be the case.
Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
And from my perspective, I am always um, pushing for it's never too early, right?
Yeah.
So I know, Miss Holly, you work with kids as young as and preferably in middle school, right?
Yeah. Preferably
Because
middle school.
what I've found is I usually start talking to families about college
Mhm.
and what their plans are late, in what I
Mhm.
consider late, junior and senior year,
Yes.
right? And a lot of times what drives them is I want my young person, or the young person themselves wants to choose a major
Mhm.
based on what they think they want to earn when
Mhm.
they graduate.
Mhm.
And I was just having a conversation with a young man a couple of days ago who has personally built a portfolio of over $1 million,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And we were saying our young people need to understand money
Mhm.
and how to master the money
Mhm.
so that they have the multiple streams of income and they know
Mhm.
what that means, and
Mhm.
money is working for them. So when they go out and make these choices and decisions about career,
Mhm.
that's just one small factor in
Yes.
those decisions.
That's
Right.
right.
Small,
Right.
right? So talk
Mhm.
about what your money camps look like, Holly. What are you doing? How fun
Mhm.
is learning about this money?
Yeah, so our money camps, we split them up. So we run them for kids ages 10 to 14, and then we do them for teens 14 and up. And so most of you guys are dealing with teenagers. I'm going to talk about that one
Mhm.
because that is one we actually have coming up. We're going to kick it off, open up the doors again at the end of April.
Mm.
And there are 4 sessions, right? And we cover topics like earning money, how to earn money at their age, right?
Mhm.
So, what are the skills they can monetize? If
Mhm.
they're interested in being entrepreneurs, what does that look like? But
Mhm.
if not, then what do they do with the birthday money? What do they do with the money that they're working during the summer or on spring break or when they come home and visit from college? What are you doing or what do you need to be doing with that money? We, of
Mhm.
course, cover saving and investing, right? Saving to build that healthy money habit. But saving is the foundation to investing, which is really going to allow you to grow your money. And
Mhm.
that is what's going to create those future millionaires.
Mhm.
We talk about spending your money wisely. So, of course, diving into a spending plan, creating a spending plan, a budget, right? People hate the word budget, so I mix it up a little bit. But also spending wisely and consciously. Like our kids
Mhm.
don't need a course on how to spend their money. They experts at that.
Yes.
It's about how do you spend your money wisely
Yes.
and consciously. Are
Yes.
you spending your money on the things that are going to serve you well? Is your money supporting companies and organizations and executives that support people who look like you?
Right.
Or are those companies and organizations and retailers taking the profits from our money, from our dollars, and using them against us? Whether that's, legislation, or are we dealing with um, people who support supremacy
Exactly.
thoughts,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
we got to be wise. Our kids are old enough and smart enough and have access to enough information where they can go and look and see, do these companies support people who look like me? And
Mhm.
then, more importantly, we want our kids to be money savvy adults, but we
Yes.
also want them to be compassionate. We want to raise kids that have empathy. So we talk about giving back, the
Mhm.
money habit of giving generously, what that looks like, how it's not just about donating dollars, but that also could be donating their time, donating their talents, ways that they can give back to grow stronger communities.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I think a lot of our teens have really liked, if we have installed a earn as you learn
Oh.
policy. So as we go through each topics, I give them actionable things that they can do throughout the week to practice that money habit that we've been talking about. And as they complete those things, they have an opportunity to earn money, so that it's almost like them getting
Oh wow.
paid to learn how to manage their money wisely. And so it has been an awesome program. We've had a lot of teens who have gone through, and because of our program, are now more seriously thinking about entrepreneurship, or more seriously thinking about how they are going to start stacking their cash and looking at platforms that they can start investing in, asking their parents to help them open up a savings account or a brokerage account, right? So that they can start investing bit by bit in these custodial Roth IRAs. So I introduced them to those things. And you mentioned earlier, Pam, just about how our kids have how there are multiple streams of income. We actually talk about the 7 streams of income and how that doesn't look like 7 different jobs. No, there are actually
Hmm.
7 different streams of
Mhm.
income. So we talk through that so that they understand how interest income, dividend income, portfolio income, so they understand all the different sources,
Hmm.
and strive to have at least 3 sources mapped out on the things that they're going to focus on, right? So what you focus on is what grows. And
Yeah.
so we try to get them to focus on at least three streams of income while they are in the camp, and ways that they can institute that and actually have them up and running before they graduate as future millionaires.
That's great. You
Yes.
um I wanted to mention to our audience about our upcoming summit. Both
Yes.
Holly and Miss
Yes.
Patricia are going to be joining me on April 1st. We are, along with three other colleagues, are doing a summit specifically geared to parents of African American Black teens and basically middle school and high school students. If you have a Black middle school or high school student, you are our target.
Yeah.
Or if they, you can be the grandparent, the auntie, the godmother, godfather. If you have a young person in your life and they are college bound or you want them to be college bound, we're coming together. The six of us are coming together on April 1st to bring you all of the goodies,
Yeah.
all of the insight that we want and need to share with you as a parent or custodian of our future. And
Yes.
Yes.
so that's April 1st. And so I wanted to make sure I got that in. I'll give you some information on how folks can register for that. It's virtual. We know how busy our young people are, and
Uh oh.
Yeah, and so while we wait for Pam to
all
come back,
right, we
let me
know how,
tell y'all are in for a treat for the
Yes.
summit. April
Yes.
1st,
It's
it
gonna
is
be.
going to be some goodness in that summit from
Tell the
so
truth.
many different topics. Of course, I'm going to hit you up with the smart money moves you should be making as your team prepares for college. Patricia, what's your topic going to be on?
Get connected, stay connected is what we're going to be talking on so that we ensure that we launch our teens adult ready. So get ready for it.
Yes.
and I'm talking from the 5 tips that every Black parent needs to know for their teen's future success.
Yes.
I love it.
We have someone who's going to be talking about standardized testing. We have another colleague that's going to be talking about college safety
Yeah.
and how you have to
Very
prepare
important.
for that long before you get ready to drive them off and drop them off in college.
Yes.
And then we also have another colleague who's also going to be just talking about some of the myths that need to be busted about college admission and financial aid. Because again, you don't know what you don't know.
Yes.
And as I've been doing this work for years, I've found that that's the biggest
Yes, it's so important. Um,
not to create any more anxiety. Go ahead.
There you go, Pam. We see you.
oh, I didn't. I may have missed may have missed
Holly.
some vocal cues, but yes, it's gonna be good.
Yes.
We gotta sign up. I think pre registration is gonna be open real soon if it's not open already, and we got
Yes.
some goodness coming y'all way.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yes. I'm putting up on the screen now how they can register.
Wonderful.
And as we are coming to a close in terms of timing, I did want to ask Madeline the question of what one or a couple of things do you wish you had known now that you've been a freshman in college? What little tidbit or nugget do you wish you had had prior to going off to school?
It's kind of hard because I really feel like a lot of the things that I start to learn or pick up on were things that my mother had already said. But because she's my mom, we don't always listen to our parents, even if they're wise. It doesn't matter. It's still my mom. But I would definitely say my biggest thing is making sure that, like, when school starts, go and talk to whatever faculty, definitely people who work in the food area, anyone in your business, come in the Drury House College of Business, anyone in business, other just students, just talk to people, get out there. It may be nerve-wracking and like uncomfortable because it's a whole new place, but I advise, and that's what I'm doing, that's what I'm working on, is just making sure I talk to literally everybody, because that's how you get your connections, and that's how you can be successful. So that's my big one. Yeah, that I'm really working on.
All right. So thank you. We were going to wrap up for tonight's episode of Candid Conversations with Coach Pam. I want to thank again Holly Reid. I want to thank Patricia Wicks and Madeline Wicks. It's been great. Register for our upcoming summit, and we will see you again here next week. I'll have a couple of more colleagues that will be joining me, that will be participating in our summit, and I look forward to um, our bright futures.